Hello and welcome. Let's remain in chronological order. Some charts on the Poloniex site. And let's start off with BLK. This is one of the few dead charts that I talked about that I'm going to talk about now because of this interesting rally. And there's not much more that I can do with it other than put buy orders within this range and see how it's holding up within it because they have these big moves and they fail. They usually always fail, every single one. So basically, it just becomes on my watch list, and maybe I can even get a pop in this range to get a little bit, but nothing I'm getting too aggressive with. Now let's move on to the Dash chart. This is the daily chart, and this just shows you the perspective of the gain in which this has had. Let's shorten this out a little bit. Take a look at this on the 2-hour time frame. This is Dash again. And what I stated was on a break of 5,000 that you'd pretty much just have to go with the flow and go long. I didn't go as long as much as I should. And one of the big problems I was having within this pretty much from the start was I was selling way too cheap, meaning whatever I would buy for, I would look to sell for about 3-4% more expensive, and I'd run out. And then I moved it up to 5%, and I'd run out. Move it up to 10-15% and run out of. And then I just have a lot of these high-end rallies just miss. I mean, I didn't sell anything up here because I was out. And then, of course, now I have changed that. I'm making sure of just holding shares back of Dash. There's no sense. You might as well keep some in the bank. That's what I'm saying to myself. As long as this uptrend remains intact, then don't run out of shares. And myself, I've been more aggressive in the last little while buying on these dips. And I'm able to sell now because I'm holding some back and I'm selling a lot less than what I'm buying. So for every unit that I buy, I'll sell 3/4 to 4/5 of them back in the market, leaving the rest in inventory. So that's the strategy that I am playing with in the Dash, but I'm still going to look for an aggressive correction at some point. But you can't fight the trend. The trend is obviously higher. Most of the time, previous resistance becomes support. This time it didn't. Oh, this time it did. Will it come when this breaks here on the most likely event that it does? Oh, it's going to break, make a decent higher high. Will this level area become support? Probable, but not always. So that is the Dash chart. And yeah, I don't know. I did 2 copies of it. I thought it was weird. I thought I wrote it down. Anyway, that is the this part here. Okay, so anyway, DCR. This one has been fun for me. This is a long view of its chart, which was in a downtrend and has since been making a nice move. When you look at the volume, it's had a nice volume uptick here and in here, and lackluster volume beforehand. Let's move this out so it's easier to see. And for days, this thing has been fun to day trade. And I've been, this and GNT have been the two ones I can get in and out for 6, 7, 5% gains in a matter of less than an hour, many times during the day. It's been really, really fun. But now I'm in a situation where I am running. I got nothing left to sell because I refuse to run out like I've been doing so in the Dash market. And I see the volume huge here and sideways action a little bullish on high but lighter volume. This doesn't look weak to me. It looks like there still could be legs for another leg higher. But with that being said, we have had one test of support already here to indicate the push higher. It also means another support level that can come into play, as well as this one here. But it does seem as if this thing does have momentum to continue to move higher, which is why I'm refusing to sell out of what I have and just leave it in the bank without even a sell order. Or if a lot of these, I'll put an insane sell order. Like right now, the price is at 44. Okay, I'll put a sell order for like 7,000. That I'm doing either one of the two. It's the only strategy I think that I can come up with for it. Okay, let's move on to EMC Deuce. And this is newly day tradable for me because it is got this average that was declining, tried to move higher, establish this major level of resistance, so we know that's going to be a big area on any rises higher. This is looking like the possible failed move, but either way, this low here, it's a higher low. The 18 average as it stands, we can put the band somewhere in the area like that. It's holding in neutral, so I don't want to day trade anything that's bearish unless I can figure out the lower highs and lower lows well enough. But all I'm doing for now is on any dips, buy the lower end of this range and sell the upper end of the range. That's all I can do, and that's what I'm doing right now newly into this chart. ETC on the daily time frame. This is on my watch list now more than anything. Maybe you could consider putting some buy orders in here, or I don't know if I will or not. Again, it's on my watch list, but interestingly enough, it has managed to come up to this previous high. It's one of those dead charts I don't trust. Obviously, I did not get in on this bottom. But with that being said, was it a good time to play? Well, yeah, whenever you have a situation of a key low, then you can go back in on it again. And same thing if it comes back again, because it's such a big move. But for where it stands, I want to see this thing show some sort of signs of holding for a while, that it's not a broken chart anymore, before I can give it any conviction. So on the bullish side in this area, I'm just going to watch it. Maybe it's going to go good. I don't know. But I'm not going to make any bets here. But, yeah, I probably will bet if it comes down here. 38.2% retracement. A blind eye just says roughly around here. And that's just a good area to get in on. Of course, it can continue going lower. That's the thing about these dead charts. But oftentimes, bullish or bearish, I get in here, I'm going to sell there. That's just what I'm going to do. Let's move on to the Ethereum chart. This one's hard to see, and I'm going to shorten it out again. But the reason why I have it is just to show you this previous day in here. And this is going back to a year ago, basically. March of the previous year. And a fast move back to that level. So interesting that it took months and months and months to go down. A month or so of just going sideways, and then a few days of doing that. So that's the chart image. Now let's move this on to the 2-hour time frame. Big volume for this move. Big volume did not scare out any moves lower. That's oftentimes you see the big volume up here. It's going to sell off. Well, it corrected sideways. Market corrects one of two ways: price through sideways or through time. And I was getting in long on this break-in, and I got a lot of these gains. And again, I'm in the situation where what do I do here? I got big volume here and lower volume going sideways. This thing doesn't seem as if it's ready to run out of momentum. So I have to sell at like 10, 12, 15% premiums like a Dash at this point, or else I'm just going to sell out and hold them. And when I buy, I'm going to have to sell less than what I got to buy until it's over. And then that's where I get my overage from. So if I'm going to, again, for every unit that I buy, I'm going to sell back about 3/4 of them. And if I can ever figure out where the key points are, and well, maybe we can do that live, or I'm just going to do that raw. What I do is just point A, point B, point C, point D. And this is a linear chart. But, and then these numbers aren't written too easy to read, but that's about 16 or so. So 16 up to 24, that's about 50%. 24 to about 34 and change. That's about 40 something percent. And 34 to about 41. Well, this move's not over yet. So if 34 is going to move up about 40%, that's a gain of about 16 or 15. That's 34 and 60. So you're looking at about 60. No, 50. So I would guess that might be a key area where it might go towards. That's just doing numbers quickly in my head as I was just doing them now. But until the trend does anything different, I really gotta hold on to shares and then just try to keep getting in and out as I can, because I'm still gonna, every time I sell, then I'm gonna try to buy back 5% lower and then just keep the process. So I buy 5% lower, sweet, it retraced a bit. I buy whatever units and let's sell it for 12% higher and keep some back. That's basically it. Anyway, thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.